The idea that man has an eternal enemy is something that we need to come to terms with at one point in time or another. And in this podcast, in the next few episodes, I'm going to discuss what I've mentioned as a glimpse into hell's kitchen strategic meetings. Those meetings are created specifically to destabilize visionaries, to destabilize individuals. If you had a sneak peek of what is going in the back room of hell, what they are cooking, the strategies they are cooking to destabilize a visionary, you'll be seriously in for a treat. So stay tuned, listen and learn.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Before hell can get a hold of you, ladies and gentlemen, hell is going to make sure that you're not productive in whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing in the first place. You see, people are so scared of hell in terms of eternity, in terms of where am I going to go after I die, and so on and so forth. I'm supposed to be righteous and pure and holy and all those things. And they forget that there is a reason as to why man was sent on the face of the earth in the first place. If hell can keep you away from doing what you're supposed to be doing, hell will be accomplishing much. You going to hell just is the crown on the cake. But the cake itself is a daily destabilization of a visionary, daily making sure that this woman is not doing what they were called to do, is not serving their purpose, is not living on purpose, it's just second rate, living way below their privileges, way below their potential, not exercising their potential, just existing to make sure that they're surviving every single day, every single week. And so you find that human beings who are supposed to be in charge of life, in charge of things, they are wasting away being encumbered by one setback, being encumbered by one personal hitch or another. It is because there is a strategic meeting at the end of the day going on in hell to strategize how to destabilize people who are supposed to be deliverers of others, people who are supposed to be shining their lights ever so brightly. And so the lights are there is a campaign to dim your lights, as it were, metaphorically and also in reality. That at the end of the day, you walk out of this life a darkened person and you go to a darkened place. Hell is simply a place of torture, a place of suffering, isolation, where purpose and vision, they have absolutely no meaning. No meaning. If hell is against progress, ladies and gentlemen, then hell will do all that it has in order to derail a visionary. And that is happening even as you listen, even as I speak. At the basic instinct level, we are all on the lookout for things that will derail our plans, our purposes, and our pursuits. We are militant to protect ourselves from these obvious attacks. For example, the laziness, disorganization, procrastination, lack of vision, lack of teamwork are things that will kill our vision, and that's why we are arming ourselves against them strongly, accordingly. That is why We attend several training seminars so that we can up our game, on only to become better, but we can become well equipped to counter the retrogressive traits that are attracting failure. And so hell is very intelligent. Hell, as it can be, has cropped up several stealth attacks, those ones that are not obvious, those ones that are not detected easily, against the most successful visionaries. And what is the purpose? It is to make them purposeless, to crush their dreams, to kill their momentum, and to kill their flow of inspiration and consistency. If successful, a visionary becomes distracted, sidetracked in more than two ways. First, they stop being productive. The very reason as to why they are existing, as we've discussed in the previous episodes, is so that you can be productive. Some people normally think that I am existing so that I can please God, I can worship God, and so on. Do you know working is part and parcel of giving glory to God? And I've said elsewhere that a tarmac road, the guy who is constructing a tarmac road and it's making people to flow and move and transportation to be eased, that person might be giving much more glory to God than the guy who is in the pew in church lifting up hands. I know it's controversial. My point is simple. The very reason as to why you and I exist is so that we can be productive. Man was told to be fruitful, to multiply, to fill the earth, to subdue it, to have dominion upon it, to be fruitful, to be productive. That is the call. It has never changed. So hell, by all means possible, will want you to be unproductive, will want you to fail in the call, to become purposeless. First, they stop you from being productive, and that is a major blow to humanity. Can you imagine a world without Steve Jobs and his productivity? Can you imagine a world without Bill Gates and his productivity? A world without Thomas Edison, Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln? Can you imagine your family without you and your productivity at the end of the day? Can you imagine this world without you doing your part and your productivity? That is exactly what is on the topmost agenda for hell. It's a sorry spectacle, isn't it? That is why hell has put up these things. It is up to you. It's up to hell to make sure that you will not ascend to the place where you are called to be productive and to make the earth a sorry spectacle. So if you had a glimpse of hell's strategic meeting to derail a visionary, top on the menu of their arsenal will be stealth weapons. They will not use anything that can be easily identified. They are going to use one of those weapons that are not obvious. They want to do that so that you will not become productive. You will be derailed from doing what you're doing. And you know what? The way we were created in such a way that we earn fulfillment. The earning that man was supposed to earn is not necessarily tangible. The greatest earning that man is supposed to acquire, it is earning that comes from being productive. And that earning is nothing else but fulfillment. And if I can find people on the face of the earth that are not fulfilled, do you know it's possible to have all these activities going on, but you are not fulfilled? You are empty deep inside. Do you know it is possible to accumulate all the toys? You get all you can all you get, and you sit on the can, but you are not productive at the end of the day. Do you know it's possible to accumulate very many things and still you are not going to be fulfilled? The answer to fulfillment in life, I know this is controversial to some spiritual people who will be telling you that the answer is to please God so that you can go to heaven. If God wanted you in heaven, He would have made you to be in heaven. But you see, God has angels up there, seraphims, cherubims, and all those things. They are where they are. But for man, we are where we are for a reason and for a purpose. We were not sent on earth as a punishment. We were not sentenced to be on the earth for a punishment. No! It was a divine design for us to be here. Why? So that we can be fruitful. And if hell can find a way of making sure that you are not productive, you are not fruitful, they will do it. People think that hell's biggest agenda is to recruit you into hell. Let me tell you, before you can get there, their agenda is to make you as miserable, as unfulfilled as possible, and have your stay on earth so empty, so despondent, filled with anguish, before you can end up in hell itself. And the key thing that hell does is to make sure that a human is not productive. A visionary is not focused. A visionary is not doing what they were called to do in the first place. And so in the episodes that are coming up, I'm going to be sharing with you some of the ways in which I think, the stealth ways in which hell has propped up these massive arsenals. And there are not so many. There are few arsenals, but some of them are so, sometimes we normally think that wickedness, it is the biggest arsenal that hell has. Let me tell you something. Wickedness is a result of something. Before you can become wicked, some process has gone on, some time lapse has gone on in the background, and so you end up being a wicked person because of something that was triggered, something that happened. And you don't just get up one day and you become wicked. It is always going to be a process. It is always going to be that's why I'm saying these things are stealth attacks. Do you know, if I'm the intelligence of this world, especially in military intelligence, it is to take you out when you are not seeing. That's why you can sit on the same table with your arch enemy and you will not even know. You can have an inner circle, and inside the inner circle, ask Jesus and Judas, you can have an inner circle, and inside of that inner circle, the inner circle are plotting your downfall. And in the end, it is not the pain that we get from our enemies that matters or that destabilizes us. It is the pain and the shock that we get from being betrayed by the inner circle. That's exactly, ladies and gentlemen, how hell operates. Sometimes not obvious, sometimes not these big time scenes, adultery and fornication and homosexuality and all those lasciviousness and all those things. Those ones are known, and people have armed themselves accordingly against them. But the tactics that hell uses are totally different. They are, for lack of a better word, those soft things. By the way, speaking of soft, did you know that there is something called soft pornography that is on TV these days? It is a perfect example I can use of stealth weapons, because a boob exposed here, minimal, no big deal about that, yeah? But the more you keep staring at that half a cleavage, the more you get accustomed to it. So much so that it doesn't abuse the senses anymore, becomes obvious and common. And guess what? Anytime you see some progressive unveilment of the cleavage, what happens? You get hooked. And gradually, you get into hard porn. And you started soft. That is stealth weapons. And we can use that example to show you that your unproductivity and your unfulfillment is never big bang. It is always small, little, and progressive until it hits its target. And when it does hit its target, perhaps it is too late. It takes probably the same amount of time, if not longer, to deliver, to get someone delivered from that attack. It is never gonna be sudden, a delivery. So watch out, friends. There are some little things that are going on in your life today, probably even in your mind today, probably even in your inner circle today. Some innocent things that are going on. What are you justifying today? What are you making excuses about? What are you accommodating? What are you allowing? What are you compromising on? Small little seemingly inconsequential things like eating a bat if you're Chinese, and the result is that the whole wide world is in panic because of coronavirus. Something that was just obvious, something small, something simple, something little that you could have avoided. And here we are. So stay tuned in these episodes, maybe 5 or so episodes, where we're going to be talking about hell's stealth weapons that are focused on making sure that you're not going to be productive. Until tomorrow, bye-bye. A special shout out to my mentor Jeffrey Howard of Visionary Business University, found at mastermindmentor.com, who has graciously provided me with the soundtrack and the introductory track to this podcast. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.